Hi everybody, my name is Tanya de Melon and currently I am a Mrs. Universe South Africa semi-finalist, and because of that I get to meet the most incredible people. At the moment I'm busy with a sponsorship campaign, a wellness sponsorship campaign, and one of my sponsors is an amazing, incredible woman that I've had the privilege to meet, and her name is Vilia Reynolds. And today we are going to just unpack a few questions about certain things that most people go through. And one of those is a story that I can relate to that I've heard before, about two young brothers, a twin in fact, that were growing up in a household with an alcoholic father. Same situation, same circumstances, and when they had grown up, they were each found and asked the same question, because one was a successful businessman making millions. The other one landed up on the streets. And the question that was asked to them was, why are you so successful, to the one? And he said, I grew up very tough with an alcoholic father. And the other one on the street was asked the exact same question. He answered the same answer. I'm on the streets because I had a tough childhood and I grew up with an alcoholic father. And this brings us to the question of this moment. What is it with the situation that two people go through the same trauma but have completely different outcomes? And we are going to unpack that answer. Thank you, Vilia.
Thank you, Tanya. Okay. To answer those questions, we first need to start with brokenness. Okay, we need to define brokenness, because brokenness doesn't mean we're damaged. And that example that you gave now is actually a very good example of brokenness. Okay, so brokenness is more you are shattered. You are not damaged. And once you see yourself as damaged, that is where you start making choices on that feeling of feeling damaged. Okay.
Okay.
So I thought to start this little discussion, okay, using my example. Can I use an example?
Yes, that would be great.
So, yeah, I have a white piece of paper, obviously. And really there's nothing on it. It's blank. You agree with me?
Yep.
Okay. But nobody goes into trauma blank.
Right.
I have my story, you have your story. Okay. So my story can't be the same as your story. So it is not the trauma that's happening. It is how you went into the trauma. What did your story look like before you went onto the trauma?
Okay.
And that makes the difference. So that example that you used about the twins is that the one had, both of them had pain, but the one started to use his pain silently by coping with it and using other coping mechanisms to deal with his pain. But he had exactly the same pain. And where he came from was not exactly the same as his twin brother, because we are welcome. So when I go to Virginia, where I live, I take a certain road. You take a different road.
Yes.
But we live in the same house. So we don't walk the same steps. So we have different stories. And that is brokenness. Now, if I look at this paper, okay, next time when we talk again, we will say about if you have a lot of these papers, okay, but at this stage we just work with this one paper. It is not torn.
Yes, it's still intact.
It's intact. But if this happens, it's broken. Not only broken, it's damaged.
Yes.
But that's not trauma. Trauma is not the story, and then the amendment then people go in life and they think that they are damaged. So I need to do certain things, and that is where I make choices of the one ends up on the street and the other one is a successful businessman. Okay, so it is not about trauma. The discussion about what is trauma is for another time, but for now it is brokenness.
Right.
And we have to really identify brokenness is not damaged. Okay.
Okay. So if I understand that correctly, I often say it's not what you go through that always matters. It's how you handle what you go through. So that handling is my story. My backstory has enabled me to handle situations a certain way, and I'm going to make choices around that a certain way because of what my starting point is. And so different people then therefore have these different outcomes to their pain and to their trauma.
Yes, Tanya, I agree. It is what happened before
you enter a situation.
Before you enter it. So that we call when one car goes into another car unexpectedly, they collided. Hey, so in English you say collision. Hey,
yes.
Is that the word?
Yes.
So the collision is not with the trauma. The trauma is the inflow into me externally. Internally, the collision comes into it is within me, which we call a reflective flow, and that is where it collides with my old wounds. And that is my story where I felt rejected. Childhood, negative childhood experiences, grief. I lost somebody very close to me. There is so different things that give you that feeling here. It can have different feelings or this feeling here. So it is a negative feeling. And that creates pain, and that's invisible. Yes. That is invisible. The trauma is visible, everybody sees. So now I have this thing of, this case was actually worse than me. So I'll rather send them for therapy. Okay. Yes. But it is what happened within me. So within me, I had this wound, and I could not actually deal with that wound. Wound. Yeah. Is that how you say it?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
For anyone out there that might be experiencing silent pain or coping with life or just survival, you need to speak to Vilia. Her passion is to take you from trauma or counseling through it, but to take you to the future, your best future, where you are working from a place of healing and not just a place of coping. So I look forward I will definitely be putting Vilia's details on the screen, and then you will be able to connect with her. We look forward to that. Thank you.